Probably half a minute. Yeah, probably half a minute.
It's according to the satellite, it's 6 o'clock, but that clock is what we have to go by. The time is 6 p.m. and the regular meeting of the City Council of Denison, Texas is now in session. This evening will be led in our invocation by Steve Sufron, pastor of the First Baptist Church.
Let's pray together. Father God, we are so grateful for this opportunity to gather here to do the city's business. We thank you for this town. We thank you the way that you bless us. You bless us with these public servants. You bless us with these concerned citizens. And God, you bless this town with people that are concerned for one another. And Lord, I pray today, this evening, as we do the business of this town, Lord, that you would guide us with your wisdom, guide us through with your grace, and Father, we pray for the good to be done. It's in Jesus' name that I pray. Amen.
Amen.
This evening, we are honored to have with us two representatives from Girl Troop 403 of the Boy Scouts, Serena Gleaves and Cadence Hayes, who are going to lead us in our pledge. Anytime you're ready, ladies.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much. Before we start the business of the city this evening, I would like to welcome the Denison Leadership Academy, who is here this evening to observe what's happening in their city government. So if you all will please stand and let's recognize you. These are people who have given up their time to learn about the workings of our city and to become engaged. So thank you very much. Josh, did you did you join late or what? Next time, Josh. Next time we have one. Okay. Public comments. In every meeting, we set aside time for any citizen to make public comments on any action item that is listed on the agenda. Ms. Wallenstein, do we have any request to speak cards? There being no cards, there'll be no public comments. Consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to accept the consent agenda as presented for items 3A through 3E. Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4A, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance adopting the land uses assumptions plan and capital improvements plan relating to the possible adoption of impact fees. Ms. Stearns.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for considering this item tonight. Excuse me. Let's get started with the 10-year land use assumptions. As part of the impact fee approval process, the Council needs to adopt a 10-year land use assumptions and a 10-year CIP via resolution, which is what we're here for tonight. what you see on your screen in front of you is our 2018 comprehensive plan land use assumptions. We know a lot more than we did in 2018 of where development is going. We've had a lot more contacts and a lot more information. Things have changed. So this was a really good base for our 10-year land use assumptions. This is our current new development map. These are folks that we have met with or developments that have gone through and are actually already on the ground. And so this is what we're actually using for this study. This is our 2018 comprehensive plan land use assumptions with our new development overlaid on top. So just gives you a really good idea of where development is happening in the city. And if we look at these side by side, you can see the big changes that we've seen over the last 5 years. For our 10-year CIP, that's our capital improvements plan, we came up with a 10-year CIP for the water, wastewater, and roadways. For water, we really focused on rehabilitating our existing structures. So out at the water plant, we're doing some rehabilitations. That picture is actually Clarifier 1, which is currently under rehabilitation. That should be substantially complete at the end of this month. We also need to expand our treatment for water. We have more water customers than we've ever had, and we anticipate even more coming in, so we need to be able to get that water out safely. And then, as with everything, we want to not only meet our minimum compliance measures, but exceed those too. So we focused on those areas for water. For wastewater, again, we need to improve what we already have in the ground. We need to expand our treatment as well. With more water usage comes more wastewater, so we need to keep that growing. And then we also need to do extensions for our collection system. There are a number of developable areas in and around Denison that probably would have already developed if we had wastewater, but it's just so cost prohibitive for the developer to actually bring wastewater out to those parcels. We still haven't seen development there, so we need to find something that's going to get those connections out there. For our street CIP, we focused on expanding and improving our streets. We've talked about this before, that our community's expectations of what utilities look like and what our streets look like have changed significantly in the past 10 and even 5 years. So being able to meet those expectations and eventually exceed those expectations is our goal. And I'm present for any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Stearns? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance adopting the land use assumption plan and the capital improvements plan as presented.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley and a second by Councilmember Thorne. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Stearns. Item 4B, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone lots 3, 4, and 5, Block 4 of the Fairbanks Addition, commonly known as 116 East Harrison, from Neighborhood Services to SF5 Single Family Residential, case number 2023-003Z. Ms. York.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I want to say thank you for your patience with me tonight. We have quite a few of these rezone requests, so let's get started. The first one is for 116 East Harrison. This is an aerial view of the subject property. It's currently zoned neighborhood services. The applicant is wishing to rezone this to SF5 in order to redevelop the existing platted lots. There's currently a dwelling unit there. However, his intention is to demolish that and then construct single-family lots on each of those lots that are presented before you. Each of these lots do meet the minimum lot width, depth, and square foot requirement for the SF5 zoning district. Staff recommends approval of the request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval at their meeting held their last meeting, sorry, I don't remember the date. We've been busy. February 14th, Valentine's Day. I'm present for any questions you may have, and so is the applicant.
Questions from council? I have a question, Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
York. SF5 requires a carport or a single-car garage. So these are in no way grandfathered in. They would be required to build either a carport or a single-car garage.
That is correct, and they will have to meet any of the new ordinances that were passed where the front of that garage or that front of that carport, cannot exceed past the main structure or the main front of the house. So we passed that late last year.
Yes.
So yes, they will have to follow to whatever the development standards are right now.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? State your name and address for the record, please.
Jason Earnhardt, 147 Chaparral Estates Drive, Denison, Texas. And pretty much he summed everything up. I'm just here for any questions, but we're going to demo that house. We've been trying to sell it, but we got squatters living there for so long. But when you pull around that corner by the Dollar Tree, you can see that. That's the first thing you see. So we thought it'd be better just to demo that and put 3 new houses there.
Questions for Mr. Earnhardt? Thank you, sir.
All right. I got 7 more of these coming up, so just holler at me if you want to come back up there.
That's right, we've noticed that. Discussion, is there anyone else here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the zoning change of the subject property from the neighborhood services to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Courtright. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4C, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 11, Block 5 of the Highland View addition, identified as GCAD property ID 146977 from local retail to SF5, single-family residential, case number 2023-004Z. Ms. York, I think it's the Diane York show tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. As the applicant stated, he has 7 of these cases. This is one of 7 for the exact same block. All of these properties obviously I'll speak on them individually, but just so you know, they are all zoned the same and they all meet the minimum requirements for the SF5 zoning district. This particular property is located on the corner of South Travis and East Texas Street. It is currently zoned local retail. The applicant is wishing to rezone that lot to SF5 and as a single-family residential. And as I stated, the lot meets all of those development standards that are called out in the SF5 zoning district. This is compliant with our comprehensive plan, and the surrounding development has been developed in a single-family manner. Staff recommends approval of the request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission did as well on February 14th. I'm present for any questions that you may have, and so is the applicant.
And here again, this will have to meet all the requirements of the latest SF5.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Questions from council? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4D, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 12, Block 5 of the Highland View addition, commonly known as 403 East Texas, from local retail to SF5, single-family residential, case number 2023-005C. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Here's an aerial view of that subject property. The applicant is wishing to rezone the property from local retail to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. The lot meets all the development standards called out in the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding area has been developed in a residential manner. For that reason, staff recommends approval of the request. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at their meeting on February 14th, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. Short? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Thorne. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4E, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 13, Block 5 of the Highland View Addition, commonly known as 407 East Texas, from local retail to SF5 single-family residential. Case number 2023-006Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Applicant is requesting to rezone this lot from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. The lot meets all of the lot requirements for the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding area has been developed in a single-family manner. Staff recommends approval of the request, and so did the P&Z Commission on February 14th, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Courtright. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4F, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 14, Block 5 of the Highland View Addition, commonly known as 411 East Texas, from local retail to SF5 single-family residential. Case number 2023-007Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Applicant is wishing to rezone the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the single-family 5 residential zoning district. The lot meets all of the lot standards or lot requirements for the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding area has been developed in a residential manner. Staff recommends approval of this request, so did the Planning and Zoning Commission, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4G, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 16, Block 5 of the Highland View Addition, commonly known as 419 East Texas, from local retail to SF5 single-family residential. Case number 2023-008Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. The lot does meet all the requirements for the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding area has been developed in a single-family manner. Staff recommends approval of the request, and so did the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting on February 14th. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. I'm present for any questions you may have, and so is the applicant.
Questions for Ms. York from council? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4H, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 17, Block 5 of the Highland View Addition, commonly known as 423 East Texas, from local retail to SF5 single-family residential, case number 2023-009Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. The lot does meet all the lot requirements for the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding area has been developed in a single-family manner. Staff recommends approval of this request, and so did the P&Z Commission at their meeting on February 14th. Present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Courtright. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4I, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 20, Block 5 in the Highland View Addition, identified as GCAD for property ID 146986 from local retail to SF5 single-family residential, case number 2023-010Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the last one for this area. Applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. The lot does meet all of the lot requirements for the SF5 zoning district, and the surrounding properties have been developed in a single-family manner. Staff recommends approval of the request, so did the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting on February 14th, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the local retail zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Courtright. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4J, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 11, Block 32 of the J.P. Dumas Addition, commonly known as 423 West Monterey, from 2F, two-family duplex residential district to SF5 single-family residential district, case number 2023-016Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. The applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property located on Monterey, and I believe that is, sorry, I'm getting older and my eyes can't see that far, South Fannin. The property is currently zoned 2F, two-family duplex, and while a single-family home is allowed as a use in this zoning district, the ordinance requires that developers or contractors build to the standards of this SF 7.5, which means a two-car garage. It's kind of hard to fit a two-car garage on these already platted lots. They're 50 by 100 or 50 by 150, and it's kind of hard to meet those standards now with our new garage standards. So the applicant is requesting a rezone to SF5 in order to accommodate just a one-car garage or a one-car carport. The surrounding neighborhood has been developed in an SF5 standard. Not many duplexes, but most of them are that single-family 5 development. The lot does meet all the requirements for lot width, depth, and square foot for the SF5 zoning district. And for that reason, staff is recommending approval of the request. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at their meeting on February 14th, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. Short? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the 2F two-family duplex residential zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Thorne. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you. Well, you're not through yet, so. Receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone Lot 9, Block 22 of the Lays Addition, commonly known as 805 West Munson, from commercial to SF5, single-family residential, case number 2023-017Z. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Applicant is requesting a rezone of the subject property located on West Munson, or the corner of West Munson and South Armstrong Avenue, from the commercial zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district. For the same reasons as the previous case, the applicant would like to move forward with constructing a single-family home that is of the SF5 standards, which is similar to how the surrounding property has been developed. They would like to construct it with a one-car carport or a one-car garage rather than the two-car garage that's required in the two-family duplex zoning district. Sorry. The lot does meet all the requirements for lot width, depth, and square foot for the SF5 zoning district. And staff does recommend approval of the request, and so did the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting held on February 14th. I'm present for any questions you may have, and so is the applicant.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? I see one head shaking no. There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from the commercial zoning district to the SF5 single-family residential zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Courtright. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4L, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an amendment to the City of Denison Code of Ordinances, Chapter 28 Zoning, Article 3 Zoning District, Section 28.39, CA Central Area, 28.39.4 Area Regulations, Subsection A, size of lot, by amending the minimum lot depth to 120 feet, case number 2023-08Z0. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Staff was presented with a replat a couple of months ago for a property located on Main Street. While reviewing that plat, we discovered that the lot depth requirement in the central area was 125 feet. If we required for our developers, when they come in for a replat, to meet that standard, they would either be encroaching on the alley or on the right-of-way for Main Street. Main Street has already been platted at 120 feet, and so in order to prevent any discrepancies or any issues moving forward as we have redevelopment along in the central area, staff is recommending that we amend that requirement for lot depth from 125 feet to 120.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to recommend approval of the proposed amendment.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 4M, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance to rezone approximately .90 acres identified as GCAD property ID 151092, legally described as abstract number 391 in the J.B. Earnhardt survey as described in deed recorded volume 1080, page 586, deed records of Grayson County, and commonly referred to as 3307 South Eisenhower Parkway from SF5 single-family residential to commercial, case number 2022-141Z. Ms. York,
Thank you, Mayor.
you held out. You're almost done.
This is the last one.
I know.
All right. City staff is requesting a rezone of the subject property that you can kind of see here. This is actually the site of DOG, the Denison Animal Welfare Group. They are needing to expand the site in order to accommodate their ever-growing needs. But before they can do that, the use has to be, or the zoning district has to be in compliance with the use, or the use has to be in compliance with the zoning district. And right now, single family 5 does not allow for commercial uses. Staff is asking that the council consider approving a rezone for this property from the SF5 zoning district to commercial in order to allow DOG to expand as they need to. Staff recommends approval of the request, and so did the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting held on February 14th, and I'm present for any questions you may have.
Questions for Ms. York? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve changing the zoning of the subject property from SF5 single-family residential zoning district to the commercial zoning district.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley and a second by Councilmember Thorne. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Ms. York, thank you very much. Item 5A, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a resolution setting the date for a public hearing to consider impact fee adoption in accordance with Local Government Code 395 and direct staff to publish notice of the same. Ms. Stearns.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is to pass a resolution directing staff to post notice and set a public hearing date for consideration of adoption of impact fees. We have that scheduled right now for April 3rd, the April 3rd City Council meeting. We'll have a big presentation about our impact fee study at that time and the process that we've gone through to come up with the information that we'll present. I did want to note we've received a number of questions. Impact fees are related to development. It isn't a new tax. It isn't an increase in taxes. It's fees that developers pay before they develop for the impact on our water, wastewater, and roadway systems. Whatever impact their development will have on those systems, we collect a fee. That's all.
Questions for Ms. Stearns? Thank you. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the resolution setting the date for a public hearing to consider impact fee adoption in accordance with the Local Government Code 395 and direct staff to publish notice of the same.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Crawley and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Stearns. Item 6A, project updates. Receive a report and hold a discussion regarding the quarterly budget update from the Denison Arts Council. Ms. Reiner.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and thank you for having us tonight. The Denison Arts Council receives 14% of the annual hot or hotel occupancy tax collected by the city in order to help promote tourism through the arts. And I've got to work alongside as they continue to develop their projects and grow their organization, and they're doing some really exciting things, as you can tell as you walk downtown. So to tell you a little bit more about that, we've got the president of the Denison Arts Council, Ms. Cindy Salem, who's going to talk about all their growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, council. Thank you, Mayor. It's been an exciting year, and so I'm here to give you a quick report on what our plans are for the use of the hotel and tourism tax. In your packet, you received a list of the programs we have scheduled for this year, as well as a budget. One of our initiatives last year was to do as our contract with the city requests. So the grant money is in a completely distinct account and has a distinct budget. And then we have what we call our general account, and we get that through vendor fees, sponsorships, those kind of things. So exciting this year is a few of the things that we want to highlight that we're going to be using that tax money to try to promote tourism. A few things in the spring. One, we're really excited that we're making a change from the Art Walk and Wine, which was a fabulous local event. But despite all our efforts last year, we just couldn't bring in enough outside tourists. We also are really challenged to bring in outside businesses. So we're going to do an arts festival. There's a real need. The metro area, McKinney, they're losing their geography for their big arts festivals. A lot of times contracts are expiring. So we've been approached by artists to say, we're ready. And sure enough, one of our very first artists that responded is from Santa Fe, knows the area, had been looking at Texas, and not knowing I'm married to Steve, sent Steve an email asking to find retail space and lodging opportunities up here. So we know it's out there. We also have somebody from Denver that's kind of like they're trying to court us, which we think is really fun. It'll be small this year. We aren't a Cottonwood yet. We can't do what the others do, but we're also going to highlight the 100 block. And so we're really excited to be able to do that. This will be the first festival that brings, hopefully a big group of people to that area. The second thing that we're doing, we actually funded it with last year's money, is the Story of Art in America. This is going to be a film that will be broadcast on Amazon Prime. It'll actually show in 24. They'll be here in April, and they'll do filming on 5 featured artists. We gave them about 15. I was fortunate to work with the council, stakeholders. Brian was a big help here to try to make sure we were hitting all the arts. And sure enough, they're doing that. This is going to represent architecture, history, sculptural arts, visual arts, and maybe another one we're trying to talk somebody into doing it. But it's going to be comprehensive. And we're only one of 8 cities in Texas that was chosen. So that's a big part of what we think we can do to really highlight all of the energy and the things we have. Monthly, we're trying to do activities to kind of promote the downtown as a whole. And I got to tell you, when I work in the gallery, which I typically do about once a week, about half the people that come in are tourists. They're not from here. They're wandering in from a city around Dallas. They came from Oklahoma. Some of them heard Denison was cool. Some of them are like, I like historic towns. I'm just going to come check it out. So we try to really hand out as much tourism information as we can and teach them about what the city has. We're going to be promoting in the various hotels our mission as well as our activities. And it kind of scared me when I saw I could not get it to fit on one page. I began to wonder what we'd gotten ourselves into this year, but I think we can accomplish it. Rachel's been a fabulous partner. We put about 25% of the money into marketing. So we're going at this in a big way this year. We're going to do at least 6 installments into Texas Monthly. We're going to do a monthly video at a production level that we can show everywhere. Our goal is to get this word out, how many cool things there are to do up here in Denison. There are more opportunities than we can hardly get our hands on, but our volunteer base has really picked up. We're having a lot of energy. When there's this many fun things to do, people want to come and do them with us. That's great. So in your packet, you got those 2 documents. There's been one change to the budget. It was a logical one. It just, when we did the budget at the end of the year, was kind of formed a little bit on last year's budget. So we put marketing money in the general budget that should have been in the hot text. We call that the grant account. And so the 517 rent and utilities was shifted down to the general account, and the marketing that we'd shoved into the general account was pushed into grants. The dollars are the same. Rachel's given us a budget of about $90,000, and we are so grateful. Other arts councils and organizations struggle with small memberships to be able to do things. So we're honored to do what we do and hope we're giving you a good bang for your buck. Any questions?
Any questions from council? We just want to thank you for all you're doing for our community and especially for our main street.
Oh, thanks.
Just keep up the good work.
It's an honor. Thanks.
Okay. That was an information item only and does not require action by the council. Item 6B, receive a report and hold a discussion regarding the USDA Rural Placemaking Innovation Challenge RPIC grant. Ms. Tate.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for your attention tonight as I share this exciting opportunity with you. It is called the USDA Rural Placemaking Innovation Challenge, or RPIC, is how they refer to it. We were selected as one of 3 communities in Texas to participate in this grant opportunity, which was awarded to the Building Community Workshop. They go by BC Workshop. They are an organization out of Dallas that does work throughout the state of Texas and into some of the surrounding states as well, with a focus on planning, design, and community engagement. That's what they're really known for, is that community engagement piece. The grant gives us 2 years of technical assistance, so that is planning efforts. We are not required to do any financial match. The only thing that we are asked to provide is some staff time and helping to facilitate some of the community engagement. So that's a great opportunity, right, when we don't have to make a financial contribution. So we are focusing on some neighborhood revitalization. We're trying to build off of the conversations we've had with our comprehensive plan updates. So some of the recommendations that will be coming out of that BC workshop will be able to help us take that implementation maybe a little faster than we might be able to internally with staff. So we'll be looking at the surrounding neighborhoods, surrounding Main Street within our core downtown, some of the aging infrastructure, and trying to really figure out how do we go about improving some of those areas. Our first site visit with BC Workshop is this Thursday, the 23rd. Every department has been asked to contribute 15 to 20 minutes talking to the representatives from BC Workshop just to give their input on what they experience on a day-to-day basis out in the field. So if you are available for 10 minutes, I'd love to introduce you and get your input. There's some open time in the afternoon. You will be receiving an email from me first thing tomorrow morning asking you to answer 2 questions. They have done a lot of research already and are trying to prioritize, and they would like your feedback on that. So if you'll look for that and answer, it's a multiple choice. You just have to select it, so pretty fast. You'll have that first thing in the morning. Then we can expect our first public workshop to be April 20th and 21st. It's a Thursday and a Friday. We will have different times for public input, trying to make sure that we get as many people participating. So we will do a noon and then a 5 o'clock on Thursday and then a noon on Friday. And so we're going to look at we're going to do a site visit on Thursday, and then we'll have the first public outreach in April, the second one in July, and the last one in September. And then they will take all of that information, help us come up with a plan, and then part of their responsibility is to identify some funding opportunities for us. So any questions on that? Sound good?
I'm so excited.
Me too.
Is it okay if we just show our excitement rather than ask questions?
Sure, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was an information item and does not require action from the council. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Texas Government Code, the council reserves the right to convene an executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting to receive legal advice from its attorney or any posted agenda item as permitted by law, or to discuss the following. Consult with attorney on a matter in which the attorney's duty to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct conflicts with this chapter, and/or consult with attorney about pending or contemplated litigations or contemplated settlement of the same, Section 551.071. Confer with city attorney regarding 2824 West Crawford and 1527 South Austin Avenue. Confer with city attorney regarding Northern Hills. The time is set 6:43 and the council is now in executive session.